It's fast cars, fast money. We're back. It's been a little bit of a break here, but we are excited to get back. We are going to review the Xfinity series at the Glen. We are looking at a road course here, only 82 laps, so we are not too focused on dominators this race. We are looking for people that can move up and finish well. That's what we're looking for at this road course today. So as we slide on over to our spreadsheet here, we'd like to remind you to subscribe to our Twitter. That's at Fast Cars FM. You can find our spreadsheet there, and you can find us on YouTube as well. Well, you've already found us on YouTube if you're watching this, I suppose. So, if you ask us any questions. We love interacting with anybody that's on the page and are happy to give you advice on your lines or takes on drivers, etc. So feel free to ask away. And as we're looking at our top tier drivers here, I'll ask you first, Kev. What are your thoughts when you're looking at the 10K range here, those top four drivers?
So I don't think you go wrong with any of these 10K drivers. We got a good mix of some veterans, some Cup guys, some of the up-and-coming stars of the sport. So I think one of my favorite drivers is going to be Ty Gibbs. He's running the ARCA race. He's just been pretty lights out all year. Every time he's running, he's always a threat. Starting 15th, he offers you a little bit of that PD we're looking for, but also I think he's going to be a factor and potentially win this race. Potential to lead some laps and get some of those extra points. I know there's not a lot of them, but they're still there. And then another guy I like is Eric Jones, Cup guy coming down to this series to get some extra practice for the Sunday race. Priced a little bit up, but I don't think that's too big a deal because he's starting 36, so offers a ton of PD. Again, by the end of the race, you'll probably see him up there in the top five, possibly competing for the win. But if he even gets into the top five, I think that'll pay off with the amount of PD he offers. And then, I'll hand it over to you, Rich. I don't want to talk about all four of them. We can't really go wrong. Give you some talking points as well.
All four of these guys are great plays, and I think you just got to really mix and match in the Xfinity series this week, just because of it's. I think you want to go with a mix here of playing maybe one of Gibbs and Jones, the place differential guys, and then maybe one of Allmendinger and Cindric guys that can, stay out front. I know we're not really worried about dominator points, but there are still enough to pick up that, if Cindric were to pick up, the majority of the dominator points, he would pay off even if he finishes like fourth or fifth. All of these guys are great plays. I would probably lean towards Ty Gibbs and Allmendinger just because we've seen how great they are on road courses, and Ty Gibbs is in the 54 this week. We know how good that car is. But I don't think you can go wrong with any one of these guys.
I agree. I know we said that we're looking for PD at the road course, and Eric Jones gives that. But in this range, I'm looking to pick the driver that's going to win the race. And I think the two that have the best chance are Ty Gibbs and Allmendinger, and Cindric's a close third for me. But I think those two are the most likely to win the race, and those are the two that I'm probably targeting out of this range as well. And then sliding down into the 9K range here, I think the play that I like the most might be Brandon Jones. I think that starting 21st, and he offers you a little bit of salary relief at the lower end of the 9K range that I'd like to go for him. But the rest of these in the range, maybe Gregson is a GPP play, but the rest of them I'm not as interested as trying to shove a second one of those top four drivers in.
This range is kind of interesting. We got some decent drivers, but it might be kind of hard to get into this range if you're trying to get two or three of these guys. But if you're only going with two of the 10K guys, you should be able to grab one of these guys if you want to go that route. And I think Austin Dillon's not a bad play. He's not the best road course driver, but he's running this race to get a little extra practice for Sunday. But he still, has the skill that exceeds most of the field being a Cup driver. Starting 33rd, so he offers you that PD. He's a little bit pricey, but I don't think he'll have an issue getting in the top 15, and then if he can go up from there, he should be able to pay off that price. And then Sam Mayer as well. It's not a bad place. Again, maybe a little bit pricey for what you want, but helps you differentiate from, having some of the guys that everyone's going to be on in this 10K range. Starts 23rd, so again, he offers you some PD. He'll have already run the truck race coming into this, so he'll have more practice than most of the guys running this race, and he's in good equipment, and should come in pretty low just because of where he's at and just the fact that he's still learning. But what do you got, Rich?
Yeah, I think probably Austin Dillon is going to be tough to get to if you're trying to jam in, Gibbs, Jones, and Allmendinger, so you get that ton of place differential with Jones. But if you're not going to play Jones, I think Austin Dillon is where you want to go. This car isn't like the greatest. We've seen I don't like probably 10 different drivers in it this year, and we've seen mixed results all the way through. And that could just be the driver, it could just be the car, that it's sometimes the equipment fails or whatever. Although most of the time the R Motorsports cars are pretty good. Yeah, Austin Dillon should be able to get in the top 15. I don't, unless he wrecks out of the race, I don't see how that doesn't happen. And then Sam Mayer, I think he's just a little too expensive this week. I mean, he does offer a handful of place differential points starting 23rd, and the car is good. But like you guys have said, he is still learning a lot. And I'm not exactly sure if he's ever been to this racetrack before. So first few laps on the track might be could be his first few laps ever on the track at the Glen. But if we move on down here to the next range, for myself, I don't really have much interest in anybody here. Maybe Jeb Burton because he's starting the farthest back, but even then, I'd rather just drop down and play like Annette or Pardis or somebody in the range below and try and get back up to, Mayer, Austin Dillon, or one of those other 10K drivers.
I'd probably leave salary on the table before I played one of these drivers. I don't have any interest in the 8K range either.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't offer any of that PD we're looking for. None of them really are going to be a factor in winning this race, I don't think. So you don't even get, that finishing potential. They're probably going to lose some spots, lose you points there, and it's just going to be hard to get there if you're trying to get three of those top tier guys in. But who do you like in this 7K range, Coop?
I like Pardis the most, I think. Starting 35th, he offers a lot of PD upside, and he's been racing well at the road courses. So I really like Pardis this week. Don't mind Annette for that price either. I think he could sneak into the top 10 and potentially pay off that price tag relatively easily. And then LeBay, I don't mind LeBay either. But I think he's a similar play to Pardis almost, but I think Pardis has a little more upside.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I think Pardis and Laby are my favorite out of this group. Just they're a little bit lower in the 7K range price-wise. They offer the most PD in the group, and they both, should be able to do pretty good. They're road course guys and decent equipment, so I think they offer you some upside there. And another guy that we haven't touched on yet would be Tilly, starting 37th, so he pretty much can't move backwards, so he's should be able to move forward without too big of an issue. It's just a matter of how much that is. But he's, also only $7,100. So he's one of the cheaper guys in this range, and just like some of those other guys more. But it's a good pivot because I can imagine some of these other guys we've mentioned might be a little higher on this week just because of where their price is and the fact that they do offer so much PD.
Yeah, I think you guys nailed this range pretty well. I do like Josh Bilicki in the 17 this week. He is priced up to match being in a decent car and all the place differential he has. But he's, pretty good on road courses and should be able to get inside the top 20 or at least be close to there by the end of the race. But, yeah, I like Annette. I said that earlier. I like Pardis. Pardis starting deep in the field. He offers a ton of place differential. And then, LeBay starting 26, he's pretty solid as well. But if we drop one down here to the 6K range, Brandon Brown starting 14th, that's probably right around where he'll finish. But at $6,900, if he maybe finishes a couple spots ahead, that would be worth it. Jeremy Clements, similar to play to Brandon Brown, he's all right with the price. He would literally have to hang around this spot all race just to be able to pay off. And then Stephen Light starting dead last. Like I said in the Truck Series race, generally when we start making right turns, guys just forget how to drive. So we'll probably see a few wrecked cars, and Light should be able to move up. And then Bailey Curry is basically the same play as Steven. So pass it to you, Coop.
Yeah, those probably are the two that I would target in this range, just because they'll only move forward, can't move backward, and they should move forward. I think relatively quickly with how the first few laps might go on the Glen. So those are the two that I would target. What about you, Kev? Anybody else in this range interest you?
No, I think you guys pretty much hit it. It's not a ton of interest in a good bit of the group. Those guys just because they offer the most PD and a little bit of salary break. But we get down into this punt range. You might have to go down here if you're trying to get 3 of those 10K guys. I think Timmy Hill is probably our favorite out of this whole group. He's running the truck race, so he's going to have more laps than a lot of the guys. Starting really deep, starting 32nd. It's cheap. Doesn't have to move up a whole much. If he gets in the top 25, he's going to pay off that price tag. And then another guy we like in here is going to be Chris Wright, starting 24th. Obviously starting a little farther up than Timmy Hill, but still offers a little bit of PD. He's cheapest you can get, and it's probably a little bit of a misprice there with him being a road course guy and being in decent equipment. So I think he could be a really good option to help you get into 3 of those 10K guys.
Yeah, that salary relief is huge. If you're trying to plug in as many of the top tier guys as you can, it's an easy way to do it. And he doesn't have to do very much to pay off the price tag. And I actually prefer him to Timmy Hill, I think, just with it being that he's $1,200 cheaper.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think Chris Wright is definitely mispriced this week. He should at least be $1,000 at a minimum more expensive than what he is. But Jade Buford, I think he's going to be super under-owned this week, but he's a really good road course racer, and I think people will shy away from him just because of his starting spot. But I would not be surprised to see him push for a top 10 by the end of this race either. So he would be, as Coop likes to call him, a sneaky GPP play if you're going to fade Timmy Hill and Chris Wright as a value play. But if I'm only playing one line, I would probably lean toward playing Chris Wright as well, just so you can jam in, Allmendinger and Austin Dillon and Ty Gibbs, just jam in as many of them as you can, because that's where all the best drivers and the best place differential, the most upside is at.
Man, so thank you guys for tuning in to this. If you haven't already, we have the Cup and Truck Series videos out. If you want to get this spreadsheet, just head over to our Twitter at FastCarsFM. And if you like this video and our content we've been putting out, like and subscribe. It means a lot to us. And catch you on the next one.